The Conjuring House is one of the most famous haunted houses on the planet. And funny enough, I believe it's up for sale on Rhode Island because it was foreclosed and someone's trying to buy it. They believe someone has bought it. There's a lot of stuff going online, but it got me thinking, is there an equivalent house down here in Australia that's just as haunted? And funny enough, I found one. When the Warrens visited back in 1980, they said it was worse than Amityville. So this is a little known story you won't want to miss. Now, some of you may already know the Conjuring House has been up for sale. I believe it went into foreclosure in Rhode Island. It was then sold, I believe, to a mystery buyer. Some other people are trying to buy it. They're trying to maintain it. There's a whole lot of stuff happening online. But as I said, this actual story here is about the Australian Conjuring House, which a lot of people in Australia don't know about, let alone the world. Now, in 1980, the Warrens decided to come out to Australia to spread their word on what they've done. And they were doing some media interviews, and they went on to a show called The Don Lane Show. Now, Don Lane was a late-night host. He was actually an American living in Australia. I remember growing up with his late-night comedy, singing, and interviews. He went online with the Warrens because he wanted to talk to them about what actually happened to them at their different investigations they did, because he had a real interest in the paranormal. During the interview, he asked the audience or the people at home to call in with their ghost stories or their questions. The switchboard absolutely lit up, and thousands of calls came in, but one stood out to the Warrens, which was a family's plight with what they said was a poltergeist at their Gladesville home in Sydney. The Warrens went out to the home and they actually took a cadet journalist with them, Jackie Thompson, who ended up writing the article for the Sydney Morning Herald that I read during this research. And what happened next is something which I have to admit I had to read twice because I couldn't believe this could actually happen in Australia. When the Warrens actually got to the house, they walked inside and they found the mum with the two kids sitting on the couch and her face was ashen, and the dad was just sitting off to the side. It was like they've been tormented so much they were just waiting for something next to happen. They'd been tormented over the years by what they call was a poltergeist or a ghost, actually footsteps, feeling very uneasy, feeling very bad. And that's exactly what the Warrens said as soon as they walked in, that they felt unease. Lorraine decided she was going to walk around the house, and Jackie, the journalist, actually followed her. She went from room to room and she stopped at one of the small rooms and said to Jackie, "I need to lay down." Lorraine actually laid down on one of the beds and closed her eyes. And Jackie says something then happened that she did not expect. Now, Jackie's not a paranormal investigator. She wasn't someone trying to get attention to herself. She just said something that happened to her that truly shocked her. And to this day, she cannot explain. Because as Lorraine laid there on the bed, she slowly but surely watched Lorraine's face change. She said not an act of light or some type of trick. The actual face of Lorraine started to change. It changed into an old woman with multiple chins and wrinkles. Her eyes remained closed, but then the face distorted back to Lorraine as Lorraine opened her eyes. And Lorraine Warren said one thing: "The thing here that is infesting this house doesn't want us here." The Warrens then walked out and spoke to the family and said that this house was worse than Amityville and some of their other investigations they've done. The family needs to get out of this house or a psychic bomb would go off. Now, I had to look up what a psychic bomb was, and I think it's got to do with a paranormal explanation of an explosion of emotion, power, as well as, I suppose, feeling, and it can drag you down with it. Days later, the family left the house. Now, this house has had a very checkered history. It's been up for sale twice. It's been put up for sale, removed, not sold, put up for sale, removed. And in those interims over the last 40 years, there's been renters throughout with spaces between them, sometimes 2 years between. And every renter was having the same story: footsteps following them, voices, their own voices coming back at them, things moving, and a feeling of such dread and unease that they could never stay there long term. As soon as their lease was up, they were gone. So that, as I said, led me to the question. If you found a house, an Australian house, like the Conjuring House that was up for sale, would you buy it and live in it? I asked the Spooky Squad what they thought. Just have a look what they said.
G'day guys, Rod. Good question. I'm in the Pilbara, by the way, filming Aussie Gold Hunters. We're very remote.
Look, I'll be honest, you got me a bit on the fence for two reasons. One, I know how expensive houses are, so look, a cheap house is a cheap house.
Even this place is a little bit eerie. There's even a skull in the water here.
But also, to know that they've said it's worse than Amityville, a little concerning, I'll be honest.
If I could buy a haunted house, would you live in it?
Yes.
You would?
Obviously, because then you can do more adventures in it.
So, I don't think I'd live in it, but it depends. How cheap's the house?
Absolutely would not buy a house like that or live in it. I wouldn't even be neighbours with it. Why risk it? There's no point. Maybe you'd investigate it if it wasn't demonic, because I can leave. But no.
So what do you think? I can tell you this much. If a house has a story like that, I would not go anywhere near it. I would not buy it. I would not live in it. I wouldn't even be in the same street of that house. I learnt a long time ago, if things are too good to be true, they normally are. If a house is cheap, there's a reason it's cheap. And I would not be inviting ghosts into my home, let alone me moving in with them. So please do me a favour, let us know any comments. Let us know, would you buy the Conjuring House or the Australian Conjuring House? Because I'd really like to know. As always, stay safe, stay spooky. We'll see you in the next adventure.